Good morning, boys and girls. It's me, Mrs. Wilder. We are going to start with our iReady Math Workbook today. So you need to get that out. I should have probably chose to start with this background so I can show you. This is what you're looking for. Your iReady Mathematics Workbook. So you'll need to get that out. So if you would do that real quick, that would be fantastic while I change this background again. All right. So we're going to get started with the iReady. The first thing I'm going to do is show you how to get to your iReady screen, which you really should know how to do by now because you did take your diagnostic. So first I'm going to go down and share my screen just in case you do not know how. And we're going to go to our classroom, our Google Classroom, which looks like this, of course. And you're going to go to your classwork and open that. Now you can't get to this, well, you can get to it at about 9:15 this morning, but not until then. But what you're going to come down to is your Monday iReady Math Lessons, Session 1, Lesson 1, Session 1, and there's going to be an icon right here for you to click on. I thought I had done that. Apparently I haven't, so that's something I need to correct. All right. Let me just make sure. I don't think I put it on. Anyway, I will do that for you this morning. You click on that, you log in just like you did for your iReady tests. Okay, so that's all we're going to do in there. Once you get into your iReady classroom, and once you get to where we're going to start, I want you to go to page 2. So go ahead and open page 2 with me now, and let's get started. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about math vocabulary, which is going to be extremely important. We're going to be using these words all the time in math for this whole year. So I want you to be ready for that. Let's choose a color. All right, fill in the blank boxes using the review words. All right. So the review words are up here in the corner. You have dividend, divisor, factor, product, quotient, and remainder. So one of these 6 words is going to fit somewhere in these boxes. So something times something is what? We're not looking for numbers, we're looking for words. If you don't know what this is a factor. A factor times a factor equals a product. All right, and that's multiplication. Now let's go to division. See, you see the division line here? Okay, what's under the division line is called the dividend. What you divide by is called a divisor. And your answer becomes a quotient. And sometimes you're left with a remainder. So that's what fits in those boxes. So now here we go, something times something. What goes in here? Something times something equals something. I hope you know the answer. Say it if you know it. I hope you said factor. So if you take a factor times another factor, the answer is called the product. And here we go with division written a different way. Something divided by something equals something. This would be a dividend, because that's this word here, divided by a divisor, whoops, equals, the answer to a dividend divided by a divisor is called a quotient. All right. So now our instructions say when the review word, using the review words, once again, the review words are up here. Using the review words, complete the sentence. When you divide the blank 72 by the blank 8, the blank is 9. The word we want to look for here is divide. So we know we want to use our division vocabulary because we want to divide. So we're not going to use our multiplication vocabulary. We're going to go to our division vocabulary. So when you divide the dividend, that's this part down here, (72) by the blank, what do you think that is? Oh, you're dividing by the divisor, 8. The blank is 9. The answer for division is the word quotient. Now, I'm just going to tell you, you are going to be hearing these words through the math for all of 5th grade. So these are things you need to know. Now, I'm going to have to erase this part so I can scroll down and do the next part. So I just want to warn you that that's all of my answers are going to go away here in a second. So I can scroll down. Oops. Get my mouse going. So I can scroll down to the next part, the academic vocabulary. So I'm going to come back up here. I'm going to get my pencil going again. And here we are now in the academic vocabulary. Place a check next to the academic words you know, then use the words to complete the sentences. So you have to think about, do you know what the word reasonable is? If you do, put a check there. Do you know what the word result means? If you do, put a check there. How about justify in math? If you know what that means, put a check there. And the same for reason. Let's go to number 1. You must blank your answer to prove it. Well, let's try some of these. You must reasonable your answer to prove it is correct. I don't think that's right. You must result your answer to prove it is correct. That's probably not right. You must justify your answer to prove it is correct. That could be the answer. Or you must reason your answer to prove it is correct. Well, reason could be something that you might put, but I think the best answer we'll go with is justify. You must justify your answer to prove it is correct. Let's go to number 2. The blank of multiplying 2 numbers is called the product. Now we've used this, so let's put a line under it just to say we're finished. I don't want to exit out because I want to still check to see if it could be one of those answers. The reasonable of multiplying 2 numbers is called the product. That doesn't sound right, does it? The result of multiplying 2 numbers is called the product. That sounds pretty good. We've used justify, so let's try reason. The reason of multiplying 2 numbers is called the product. That doesn't sound right. It sounds to me like the best answer is the result of multiplying 2 numbers is called the product. Let's go on to number 3. She is a blank person. She is fair and sensible. So we have 2 left, reasonable and seasoned. She is a reasonable person. She is fair and sensible. Well, that makes sense. Let's try reason. She is a reasoned person. She is fair and sensible. I think reasonable sounds like a better answer. So let's write that on the line. Don't you think that sounds better? I do. And let's go to number 4. When you make sense of a problem, you reason and use what you know to help solve it. There we go. Now we have finished page 2. So if you need to pause and write your answers in, that's fine. You can watch this video as many times as you would like. All right. Let's now move on in our book. Let's just glance through pages 3 and 4. I think I can get rid of this. All right. Page 3 is a letter for your family. This is one that you and your parents or guardians, whoever it is that's helping you in your remote learning, can go through, and you can talk about volume. And that's for you and your family to look at. So look at page 3 and page 4. Now in your workbook, let's go to page 5. Explore volume. All right. First, let me get my annotation ready. I might change colors just to mix it up a little bit. Let's go with some blue. Okay, complete the problems below to compare area and volume. Okay, these are the 2 words that are going to be very important for this whole unit on area and volume. A plane figure is a 2-dimensional figure. Explain how to measure the area of the plane figure using the unit square. Okay, a plane figure just means it's 2-dimensional, like this. It's not 3-dimensional. So they ask us to explain how to measure the area of a plane figure using the unit square. Well, there are a lot of things we could write, but one thing we could do is you could use unit squares to cover, let's make this 1 inch unit squares to cover the plane figure. Okay, there should be no gaps, then you count the unit squares. So in other words, you would take these and you would place them on here. This is not going to be perfect because I'm horrible in art, which is going to be a problem here in just a little bit. And let's say it took 6. I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 unit squares. So to cover this plane figure that I just made, it would take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 unit squares. All right, let's move on to number 2. Once again, if you need to pause to write your answer, that's fine. If not, then we'll just keep going here. All right, go back to my mouse so I can scroll down without writing all over my paper. So let's go on to number 2. Number 2, a solid figure is a 3-dimensional figure. The volume of a solid figure is the amount of space inside the figure. So we're talking about the inside of this. A unit cube, this is a unit cube. Once again, up here was a unit square. This is a unit cube. Is a cube that has side lengths of 1 unit. How do you think you could use unit cubes to measure the volume of the solid figure? Well, what you could do is if you had a solid figure like this, and you wanted to fill it with unit cubes, you can count how many unit cubes it takes. You can fill this up with unit cubes, and you can count how many unit cubes it took to fill the box up. So we will say it that way. Well, I need a capital Y because we start every sentence, even in math, with a capital letter. You could use unit, I'm going to say 1 inch. You could use 1 inch unit cubes to fill the solid figure without gaps. Then count how many unit cubes. That looks real sloppy. Let me fix that a little bit. It's sloppy and then it's getting worse. Unit cubes you used. There you go. It's kind of hard to write on this, boys and girls. I am doing the best that I can, but I will admit it's not real difficult. Okay, I'm going to stop this video because it's been going on for a while, and we'll continue with the second part of this video for pages 6, 7, and 8. All right, boys and girls, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'll be back in a few to finish the video. All right, boys and girls, have a good day. Bye-bye.